just for anyone watching this, like Kev is really, really good at systems and automating and really like, I mean, it was what you immediately saw. It was about you when you said in 2015 that you immediately recognized that, hey, this is not efficient. This is not scalable. And it took me a couple of years to realize that. Right. And there's some people who never see that. So I think that's awesome that you had an eye for that. And how do you currently see people, so someone who's just starting, right? In terms of them automating stuff, what is that progression like from what you see and steps that people should take for anyone listening who's maybe just starting and they're like, I don't even know how to automate yet, let alone what Amazon FBA is or how to start?
It's a great question, and it's a topic that I absolutely love to talk about because I truly believe, depending on what each individual's goals are, because everybody has different goals. Some people may not want to build a large business. Some people may want to just build something on the side. But if you want to build a large business, a business of scale, one of the things I was fascinated with, and I did a lot of research around and studying, is how do big businesses like Amazon themselves, how do they scale to that level? How can they have 1 million employees? How does one person, the founder, Jeff Bezos, how did he manage to do that? And for me, it starts with the systems mindset, believing that systems will allow you to scale. And one of the greatest sort of quotes or phrases that's always been ingrained in my mind has been, us as business owners, we don't manage people, we manage systems, and it's systems that manage people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great quote.
Instead of, if you bring one virtual assistant in or one employee in, you've got the time to spend, training, onboarding, working with that one individual. But what happens when you've got 10 employees? What happens when you've got 15 virtual assistants? It's impossible. It's impossible to, otherwise you'll just burn out. You'll forever be micromanaging, making sure everybody's okay and doing things correctly. So therefore, when it comes to actually getting started, there's a couple of things that I would recommend. One is believing that systems will allow you to scale. And then there's a couple of ways of thinking about building systems. To me, I recognize that Amazon FBA could be broken down into stages, like a puzzle. So if you think about it, it starts with, sourcing products, finding products, then it goes to reviewing products, then it goes to purchasing products, then it goes to the orders come into the warehouse or the prep service, then it comes to the inbound, the shipment creation, the processing, the outbound, then you've got Amazon Seller Central. So the first thing that I always recommend anybody to do is to break up their business into different stages. Okay, because if you just think I'm going to systemize my business, that's like can be overwhelming. Like, where do I start? So the best place to start is, for me, I'm very visual, is get a whiteboard out and just map out what your business flow is, what the system stages are. And then you can go into the first stage, sourcing, for example, and then you can start to break down what are all the tasks involved in sourcing. Every single task, whether that is, depending on what business that you're doing, whether it is trying to find wholesale suppliers, whether it's online arbitrage sites, you're basically breaking each of these stages down. So it gives you a bit more, it's easier to start actually systemizing each of the processes. And then based on that, in terms of where to start, there's a key sort of way of thinking that personally has helped me. And that is based around what I call either growth tasks or maintenance tasks. Okay. What the difference is between the two is A maintenance task would be something that needs to happen in your business. If it doesn't happen, your business would decline. But the maintenance task only keeps you at that specific level. So like, let's say, for example, sourcing. Okay, there's only so much you could source yourself. You're going to exhaust time. There's only so much time that you have in the day, which means that it becomes a maintenance task in terms of actually, from an online arbitrage point of view, I'm going to try finding 10 products today, or a virtual assistant to find 10 products a day, a second virtual assistant sent to find 10 products a day. That would become like a maintenance task. The same as purchasing. Purchasing would become a maintenance task. Shipping would become a maintenance task. Where I try to focus my time is in terms of growth tasks. And that is anything that is to do with system creation, anything to do with team development, anything to do with, I know this is something that you've spoken about a lot recently, and I've just watched one of your videos about creating SOPs. I'm very much involved in creating standing operating procedures, and that's basically where I'd get people to start, to think about what's taking the majority of your time every day. And then if, let's say, sourcing is taking 8 hours per day, categorizing that based on, is it a maintenance task? Is it a growth task? If it's a maintenance task, that wants to be on the list of outsourcing or automating in some way.